Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and BlizzCon Online, whatever, just then happened yesterday, and I wanted to put out a quick little opinion piece about a few of the games, mostly the Diablo stuff, because I don't know, I feel like it should be out there if you want to know what I thought about all of that stuff, as well as a little bit of WoW as well, my future plans for that, since it will be asked a lot as well. So let's dive into it real quick. And basically, if you missed it, Blizzard, every year has sort of like a BlizzCon where they introduce just a few of their like kind of core games, what's happening with them, the updates, sort of big announcements, all that sort of stuff. Stuff that concerns us, or at least me in particular. World of Warcraft, the new, or not new, old Burning Crusade servers coming up sometime soon, Diablo 4 updates, and then as of this one, pretty large or at least exciting announcement for a lot of us really old computer playing guys still. Diablo 2 Remastered, which was probably the highlight of the entire announcement. Now, they did do this entire thing to begin with about how, gamers and why you love gaming, and I don't know, it was a bit meh. I didn't need that at all, and it seemed a bit weird because yeah, I don't know, bit out of touch, something like that. It was, yeah, good times. And then the actual announcement started, and we're going into the things that we might care about. So real quick, I'll talk about World of Warcraft. So you can dock leave if you're not into that. Shadowlands, I have been playing Shadowlands since it came out. I didn't do the raids, I've just mostly been playing PvP. I still arena and PvP on my little Shadow Priest, maybe like once a week. Just try and find someone to play with and get some points and all that. So I'm trying to still do that. I don't really care for Shadowlands that much anymore. It was a nice little expansion to bring me back to WoW for the first time in, years. And it's still a bit of fun. There's going to be some sort of update for probably raiding and stuff, and I doubt I'm going to do much of that or much PvP with it anymore. I'm pretty much done with WoW for the time being. It was fun while it lasted. A little bit of PvP, and still maybe PvP in a bit, but for the most part, not that excited anymore now that I got Path of Exile and loving the new league. The next thing that is happening is Burning Crusade. So for a lot of us that were around during the early WoW days, Burning Crusade was the first expansion for, vanilla WoW, and it was very good. Like, we loved this expansion. So many things got changed, updated, fixed, and overall just brought a lot to the game. The raids were really cool, the gear was cool, new PvP was happening, arena, new classes for the respective Horde and Alliance, and it was just really fun. And that's, if we're going back in WoW, this might be the first one I actually start playing, because I had no intention of playing WoW Classic. It was fun for what it was back then, but it's a product of its time, and it's just too old, and it's too grindy and slow and whatever, and there's no chance I want to play that again 15 years later, because I had that. It was fun. It was a social experience for the most part, and game got better in some ways throughout the next few expansions, evolved, all of that, and Burning Crusade is the first one that I might actually want to play as a rehash, because it was pretty good overall, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I think there's still going to be a lot of fun to be had a second time around. So I think it's possible I dive into this one, depending on the time frame, if it's clashing with PoE too much, but I wouldn't mind leveling a character to 60, then 70, doing some raids, doing some PvP, having a bit of fun with that on the side. I think it's possibly worth doing, because Burning Crusade, a very good expansion, and a lot to look forward to in it. So that's my stance on WoW and Burning Crusade. So now that the boring stuff is over, if that's what you feel about WoW and Diablo and all that, we can get into Diablo, right? So they do, in this one, have a new announcement for us of a rogue. So that's a new class. Currently they've got 3 classes already announced, something, and then rogue is the next one that they announced. And it's, a bit of a throwback to Diablo 1, where that was one of your choices, and it's kind of being updated to be a good hybrid thing of, you know, bows, attacks, cloak and daggers type shit, all of that. And I'd say, for the most part, if I'm gonna, you know, be looking forward to something or something to play in a Diablo 4 type game, I'd say a rogue is actually probably one of the things I'd more look forward to. So this class does have me a little bit excited, because I could really imagine myself wanting to, you know, dash around, cloak and dagger, shadows, do some combos, that sort of shit. So like when Diablo 3 was, you know, being first teased and announced and all that, I thought the monk looked the coolest, and I'm kind of into that sort of thing. That said, I don't know about the whole, you know, bow hybrid sort of playstyle. It looks like it might be a bit weird, but it's still, for the most part, I think, pretty good announcement and looks alright. Thing I don't much like about Diablo 4, still, I'm not sure if I've already brought it up in YouTube videos, but I've said it on stream, is the direction of like kind of how they're making it with a lot of feedback and quarterly updates, and it's like a whole, I don't know, it screams of uncertainty, something like that. What I wanted, or would have loved to have seen, is a world in which Diablo 4 comes out and they just give you this big freaking game that's amazing, and they know what they're doing, and you know, there's innovation, there's lots of cool stuff, and you just love doing it, as opposed to like the quarterly updates where they go, hey, is this okay? What would you like us to change? You know, just trying to get feedback and trying to not mess things up because they're afraid to. Or they're unsure of where they're taking it, or, you know, how people are going to respond to it, stuff like that. So that's a bit weird to me. So I'm not sure about the whole player feedback, the quarterly updates, all that sort of stuff, and getting streamers' opinions and shit like that. I don't know. But overall, Rogue looks alright. You know, Diablo 4, it's an absolute win for all of us if it's good, you know, as a consumer. If Diablo 4 is good, great. I don't expect it to be, you know, much better than PoE, no matter what happens, because PoE has had years and years to build upon its base framework and fine-tune a game to have so many new mechanics and systems, and just build on top of itself, you know. This is Diablo Immortal, by the way. So it's really hard for a new game to come in and compete with all of that on day one without having to build upon, you know, layer and layer of established game, whereas Path of Exile already has just so much stuff and systems and all that, and Path of Exile's biggest threat to itself is itself, because of, you know, performance and all of that, and it needs to more or less just address that as it goes on, for the future and for players and all that. But otherwise, it's still, yeah, amazing, and it's going to be hard to beat. So like I said though, Diablo 4, if it comes out, it's great. It's a win for all of us. We get to play it, it's good, and you can play both games in the end if you want, if they're both good. But, you know, so none of us should want Diablo 4 to fail. It's just whether or not you like what you see, what's coming up, and how you feel about it. And it's going to be, you know, a prove itself sort of situation. That said, the biggest announcement, I thought, bam, Diablo 2 in 2021. So I loved Diablo 2. I grew up on Diablo 1. I'm 32 years old, if you didn't know. I grew up on Diablo 1, and then I played it a lot. I played the expansion a lot, and when D2 came out, it was, you know, life-changing for me, because it was everything I loved, but so much more updated, fresh, and so many new systems, and everything felt so much cooler and all of that. Then the expansion came out, once again, life-changing. I played these games, Diablo 2 and expansion, for like, you know, thousands of hours, and it was my childhood, more or less. And I was even one of the top few players during ladder. I was leading the leaderboard on the ladder on the first reset up to like level 96 by just no-lifing it. So, you know, I wasn't even bad at the game at like the age of 10. I was at the time one of the better players out there. Humble brag. Just real quick. In any case, Diablo 2 Remastered, when it first was teased yesterday, actually kind of put a big smile on my face, because that looked really good. I really liked the way that they incorporated the old Diablo 2 and then melded it into Diablo 2 Remastered, just so you could see the exact comparison. Because right now I can't really go back to playing Diablo 2. It's too old, and Path of Exile exists, and when I tried, like, you know, a couple years ago, I'm just sitting there with like this old system and I'm going, man, I'd rather just make another character in PoE. Whereas now with, you know, all of this update, I think it looks pretty damn fresh. I'm really liking what I see. Obviously, with Warcraft 3 Refunded, we need to be a bit careful about, you know, how excited we get and all of that. But supposedly, it's, you know, the guys that are reworking this, the ones that did like Crash Bandicoot, I think it was, and freaking Tony Hawk's. So that's good stuff, because the Tony Hawk's remaster was really good. And yeah, so, you know, maybe there's something to get excited for there, conservatively, because who knows how bad it could be in the end, but it's looking really good. I like the look of this, just bringing the old style of Diablo into a bit more modern setting with all of the probably same or similar mechanics systems, which still hold up to today. A lot of it's going to be a lot more basic than what we're used to now with Path of Exile, but that said, it's still looking pretty damn good. So I'm excited for that. You know, if it's not going to clash completely with PoE, then we'll dive into it at some point. It says right now that it's, you know, you can pre-order it, which is a little iffy these days, but it says for December 2021 or before that, whatever that means, maybe before. So yeah, might be by the end of the year. In any way, like I said, if it doesn't clash, for sure, gonna have to give it a shot, because I love Diablo 2, I still do. I just have no incentive to play it these days, given the alternative that I'm quite happy with. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Let me think about it. Diablo 2, really good stuff. I was watching Crip's opinion piece about this sort of stuff, and he brought up a really good point that if you're thinking about like these types of games in PvP, you've still got no real good option, and Diablo 2 PvP was like the best one you had out there. I wasn't a huge fan of Diablo 2 PvP, I still did plenty of it, but I was there mostly for the PvE aspects. And that said, yeah, we don't have like almost any PvP in Path of Exile, or the stuff we had sucked. And then any other games that have come out since then, not much going on there either. So, you know, Diablo 2 Remastered PvP might be something to really look into for anyone that liked that old style as well. Otherwise, yeah, there's a lot that they did right, and just they're bringing forth the cinematics into 2021 as well for all of the Diablo 2 old cinematics. That'll be really cool. Those were definitely highlights of the game back then too. Overall, I think, yeah, the D2 announcement was the biggest one, and Diablo 4, as always, you know, keep an eye on it, stay a bit wary, but you know, if it's good, it's good, but just don't hold your breath for that. In the meantime, I think Path of Exile is currently doing great, and I'm still loving just about every minute I play of it. Hopefully, that keeps getting better. Like I said, I think the biggest issue at this point is performance. It is definitely a bit just all over the place. One league you might be good, the next league you might not, and that's a concern. That's an issue. So anyway, there you go. My opinion on the entire BlizzCon thing. There were other games and stuff, no one cares. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next time.